that are running the show. And God is not going to tolerate it forever. That's it. And we know it's going to hit the fan eventually. The righteous know that. It's promised. God can't lie. And he said, those that hunger and thirst for righteousness to be the rule of the day upon the earth, they're the ones that are going to be filled. It's as simple as that. And he can't lie. This is it. It's going to happen in his time. So all these people think they're so smart. They got it going on because they rule the world. Doesn't matter how they got to rule, killing JFK, blowing his brains out. We got to have control over the issuance of currency. I mean, that's wanton, vast, satanic power. And this is the name of the game. This is the rule of the day. It's all about money, controlling the masses with money. They keep us in fear and insecurity. This is unnatural. This is manufactured fear and intimidation. It's tyranny is what it is. They're stealing the wealth of the nation. And what is a nation? A nation is comprised of individual human beings. So the collective American, the collective human beings, collective civilization are being wantonly manipulated by these people. Okay, that's it. We've got to fundamentally understand how screwed up we are in the head from these people and what it makes us want to do. It explains why people get involved in all these forms of escapism, right? I mean, think for yourself. Just write a list of all the forms of escapism, all the different vices that people get into, and don't, just think. Spend some time, write a nice long list, but the food and the drugs and the alcohol and tobacco and retail therapy and the sky's the limit, the gambling, it never ends. The porn, the sex addictions, it just goes on and on and on. Why do we do it? Why do we do these things when it's like Einstein said, it's repeating the same thing over and over again is insanity. It beating your head against the wall. Does that make sense? But yet we all do it. Why? What is going on? What is fundamentally bugging us? This is the kind of stuff I get into. I like to help people understand what's going on. And in political, we got to understand words. People have to have a meeting of the minds. You have to discuss with people you have a conversation with. What are we talking about here? Throw out a word like government. What does it mean? Because if you can't have a productive conversation where there's benefit, where it's effective in teaching and edifying, okay, if you don't have a meeting of the minds, first of all, as to how you're using a word, it's got to have a precise definition. And that's a big deal because you don't have communication worth anything. It's just Babylon. It's confusion. It's just nonsense. It's just spinning your wheels. It doesn't help anything. If we really want to grow, and like King Solomon said, one believer is like, and when they have discourse, they grow from it because it's like metal sharpening metal. When the righteous and believers have a discussion, they grow from it. They get better. They get wiser, smarter, shrewder, more able to confront the powers that be, these evil satanic rulers. That's it. And this is how they have had an advantage over us, because they're willing to do anything to have that advantage. That's it. They don't have those boundaries that they see as valuable, like the conscience that keeps you on track. It's I'm not going to do. There's no amount of money in the world I'm going to do that for, or this. I mean, write a list of all the things you wouldn't do for any amount of money. I mean, I could spend years writing a list of the stuff I wouldn't do for money. But then again, there's just a slew of things I would do for money. So that I don't feel like I would compromise my conscience. And, this money business, it plays such a role in the way we think and the way we behave, the way we speak. It's a big deal. We're really being manipulated and controlled with the money. And so when I talk about universal prosperity and that being clearly what God is intending for us, where it's written in Scripture, we must be set free. It's such good news. First, to know that death isn't real, what Jesus proved when he was resurrected at the cross, when he raised dead people over and over. He just showed, listen, look, see, God can as easily give us new bodies, better bodies. Just believe. You need the faith of a mustard seed, just a itty bitty amount. But just to say, yeah, there's a God, and yeah, I believe that's possible. Yeah, I mean, if I can imagine it, yeah, I would say certainly. then God certainly already imagined it because he gave me my imagination. So yeah, I can imagine a better body, one that doesn't perish. It's as simple as that. To know that God has that power and authority, ultimately he has the last say in that. And then we get into the finer things like the money. What is controlling us here on earth? And Jesus said it's like a false competing God, this thing we call money. It's the root of not some of the evil, but all of the evil can be traced to money. It's got to go. We can't serve two masters. Clearly, he said mammon. He spelled it out. We've got to make sure the light within us is not darkness. Because when people are successful in this world as defined by the world, secularly, in the pagan manner, okay, it's all about money. It's defined. If you don't have money, there's no way. I mean, money and success, it's hand in hand. I mean, yeah, the inference when you say somebody is successful, it's generally not, we're not thinking of Tesla because he wasn't successful and Westinghouse stole his ideas or whatever happened and he died a pauper. He's brilliant guys, so, don't tell me that smart people can't decide to be paupers, okay? Look, just because people turn into multi-billionaires doesn't mean that they're, the sharpest tool in the shed. It has nothing to do with that. They're just the most assertive, aggressive, a lot of times underhanded, the most willing to step on toes and cut throats, whatever's necessary, because they love money more. So it's a love for money that is driving them more than just a great intelligence that got them to be multi-billionaires. You understand? They want that esteem. They want to be looked up to. I'm the ultimate, the epitome of success. I exemplify success. Look, it exudes from me. I'm a multi-billionaire. So it's very important that people get this thing, this business with the money, and God's perspective versus ours, because it's written that things highly valued among men are typically, especially when we're thinking about money, are detestable in the sight of God, because money is the epitome. It is the exemplification of riches, because you can get anything in the whole world. We all know that many times over. You can buy islands. You can buy jet airliners. You could buy mansions. You could buy all the luxury cars your little heart can dream of. It goes on and on, right? So it's the quintessential treasure chest that's bulging over with jewels and precious stones and gold coins and silver, et cetera, right? So it's all that stuff rolled up into one neat little package. It could be either digital or it could actually be cold hard cash, fiat currency. And this is the way it works. It's we know it. We accept it because we've been trained to accept it so well. And I hate to say it, but we all want to get comfortable with it to a degree. And we all love money to a degree because it's only logical. I mean, God understands. What kind of a fool, who in their right mind doesn't love money? Of course you do. Look at all the things you can do with it. It's great. It's fantastic. Of course we love money, right? So that's actually, to God, that's a confession. Because when we see what it has done to the hearts and minds of humanity over the ages, how it has corrupted us, we cannot handle it. I'm just looking at the evidence. People, we'll find a way. Look at all the time we've had to learn how to deal with this stuff. We can't handle it. We've got to wean ourselves off it. This is what God's speaking to me loud and clear, and I'm trying to share with humanity. Get the word out. We've got to wean ourselves off the junk, man. We're screwed up. And this is a satanic force, and it is manipulating us. It's causing us to be miserable, individually and collectively. We are entwined in each other. You cannot divorce yourself from your fellow human being because you value your conscience. God won't allow it. If you say, God, I want to be right with you, then you're one. You're that homeless person that's going to be sleeping out in the cold and rain tonight. That's you. Do you understand? That's you that got so desperate and prideful that you needed to commit a crime and maybe a homicide in order that you didn't, to appease the financial gods because you were financially desperate. That's you that did that. You understand? That's us. And if we could put an end to this, why wouldn't we? Prove to me the system can't work. Look at volunteerism. If we were all prosperous, think about this. Think of how all the pros to universal prosperity, yet people, they mock it. They jeer at you for talking about a universal basic income and just giving money away. Well, what does God think about it? What is God's opinion? Why do I come off so radical when I think I'm just being purely logical? A child can understand. You start writing a list of the benefits, all the pros to doing that. And you go, oh my God, you're kidding. Wow, abortion and commuter traffic is less. And I mean, dubious warfare. And we don't need the welfare industrial complex. We don't need the debt industrial complex. Wow, you're kidding me. All these benefits? Well, let's do it. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And it would spur innovation. Like, oh, well, people say, now you're just grasping at straws. No, hear me out. Because right now, are people not concerned about machines taking their jobs? They are. People want their jobs. They love their jobs. People are workaholics. They'd go out of their freaking minds if they didn't have a 9 to 5 to go to. That's it, man. They're just beasts of burden. They're trained. They're automatons, and they like it like that. Wild horses couldn't pull them away. You know the type of people I'm talking about. They love it. They're making gobs of dough, hand over fist. I'm getting rich. I love it. You see it all the time. I'm making hundreds of thousands a year. I'm making millions a year. And I'm digging it, man. I love my life in this world. That is a danger, my friends. Jesus said, look, man, once you get it, you're going to hate your life in this world. Okay, as a believer, the righteous are called on to be joyful. These are to be the happiest, the freest ones when you have wisdom and understanding. But at the same time, it's very sobering. Okay, it's very traumatic to any enjoyment of prosperity in this current realm because there's so much unnecessary human suffering because of economic oppression. It is planned austerity. This is the whole name of the game with the New World Order cabal. It is austerity. The whole idea is we got to save the planet. Okay, because once people start understanding, yes, it's true, we should all be able, at this point in history at least, when it's so easy to produce all the things we want and need, and we could start turning over more and more jobs to machines if we didn't have to worry about it. So we have, a huge excess, abundance of all the things we want and need. So why shouldn't things be dirt cheap? Why shouldn't life be a nominal fee, at least for the basics? And then if we want to play capitalistic games with the luxury items, so be it. So then we get real productive and prices go down again. Then everything gets dirt cheap. Everything we want and need is dirt cheap. Everybody is prosperous. But you understand, these people, if they don't want, that's the last thing they want is the people set free. So their will and God's will are diametrically opposed to one another. It's oil and water. One's got to prevail over the other. And you've got to believe one way or the other. But I say invest in the world of tomorrow that God's got in mind. That's where I want to be. I don't want to miss the mark. I need my heart pure enough at least to go to that place where no man wants to have an advantage over me, because I live in a world right now where all kinds of people want an advantage over me. They may not even understand really what's going on, but that's the whole idea of just amassing gobs and gobs of dough. It's playing into Satan's hands. Your values, it's too easy to corrupt the heart and mind. Your values get corrupted and screwed up. You get off course, off track. Your heart becomes impure. You love your life in this world too much. Okay? And if God asks you, hey, are you willing to relinquish your riches right now to save half the earth's population? How about to save one human being? Are you ready to do that? Are you willing to do that? Okay, I'm not saying that God would ask you to do that. I'm just saying that are people ready for that? That if God asks you right now to sit down one-on-one, because at the end of the day, we're only answerable to God. Okay, we're not answerable to each other. We can confess and we can apologize to one another if we hurt somebody's feelings or whatnot, but we don't own each other. We're not the ones that are going to save each other's lives. I can't save anyone's life, much less my own, and neither can you. We're just humans. God can save our lives. That's the one to point to. But we're answerable to him, and we're going to answer for things like values and understanding, hey, did you divorce yourself? Were you attempting to divorce yourself from the least of men? Because if you were, then you were attempting to divorce yourself from me. And so we don't want to get in a situation where we're one of those where he comes back and all these people that profess to believe in Jesus and God and all this. And he says, I never knew you. I don't know you. You see, this is the danger, that our hearts are really, we never gave it enough thought. We weren't invested enough in the higher things, the loftier things, the eternal things, God's point of view, being glad to have the fear of the Lord in your heart, the compunction and the shame and the guilt, okay, the conscience, and say, hey, you know what? We better start caring. My welfare is hopelessly entwined in other people's welfare. It's inextricably interconnected.